I paid off all my bills, and I was waiting for like a check from a comedy show I did. That's what I'm talking about. I know all those fucking scams. I did like a show somewhere at like a small college, like one of those ones that somebody calls you and 3 people send you out there. I don't even remember who booked me in one of those things. And when I got there, they were like, oh, by the way, we send you a check in the mail. Sign the W-9. I'm like, God damn it, how am I going to get home? I got no money for fucking gas. It was those type of gigs. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced those. There was a contest in Seattle years later. It was on Monday nights in Tacoma, fucking tremendous room. You had to win to get $100. I would go down there and eat. I had no choice but to fucking win. And I would go up there with the energy of 10 fucking Israel fucking whatever sharpshooters, and I'd fucking win every fucking Monday. They gave you 100 that Monday and 100 to come back the following Monday and host. Who the fuck you think you're dealing with? Joey Bananas. You know I ain't fucking around. So
when you were allowed in Seattle.
Oh, I loved it. That was before I left Seattle. For unwanted circumstances that we won't get into. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta go. Seattle was great to me. It was just time to move on to bigger pastures, Los Angeles, and I'm happy I fucking did. So, you know, I was scheduled to stay there. I went through a rough Christmas. I paid like a bunch of shit in the 15th. Like I said, I didn't get my Christmas money. So I had to resort to pure fucking vulgarity and rob fucking Toys R Us from, you know, I would go in there and, you know, what was I going to do? I took a Christmas tree. I mean, you guys have heard this. It was just a horrible Christmas. I fronted Chinese food from the Chinese place I delivered at. And that was the last time I had it for Christmas. I remember that the Christmas tree was beautiful. She had a bicycle. And let me tell you what's crazy. The toys that Mercy likes are the ones I used to give my daughter when she was younger, those fucking little houses that you build and shit. My friend Lisa brings them for her, and my other friend Judy gives them to her. They're old school toys. She's got the whole village up there. I remember giving her tons of those, a bike. I remember I had no Scotch tape, so I put up the silver shit around the room with duct tape. Yeah, it was just, you know, it was the last Joey Diaz Christmas in Boulder. I didn't even know it, you know, and the New Year came, and like, it was probably like the second week of January one night. I was not expecting it. It was freezing. And I got a call from David Tribble. And he's like, hey, it's just Joey Diaz. I've heard good things, blah, blah, blah. How much time do you have? I didn't lie. I got like 24 minutes. He goes, all right. He goes, we're going to start. He goes, I got a fallout in Boulder. Why don't you go down there tonight? And he goes, if it all works out, I'll put you on the road. I'll give you some time. I don't know if you guys knew this story or not. So it was, I'll never forget, he called on Monday Night Football. We were at a bar, and he called me, and that was like the best day of my fucking life when Tribble called me. If you know anything about me, that was it. I had fucking made it, you know, in my mind. Like, I had fucking made it. It's scary. But I remember getting off the phone with him, and my legs were kind of like wobbling, like I got hit in the head with a chair. I mean, it was fucking crazy, guys. This is what I wanted. I did not want to be a star. I didn't want to be in movies. I just wanted Tribble. And then the people I told you, Dana McGraw and Doug McGraw, they sent me I sent them a tape. They sent me a letter with like $100 check and saying that they were going to hire me as a co-headliner for $150 a show. I was like, what? And I got to call him back and go, I don't have 40 minutes of material. He goes, we'll burn that bridge when you get to it. Start writing. I swear to God. So here I went from fucking 3 years of fucking fighting my ex-wife, fighting her boyfriend, fucking going through just horrible emotional roller coaster. Every time I had to drop my daughter off, they'd take her, they'd pull off, and I'd sit there and fucking cry while I smoked the fucking joint, and I'd get my bearings to me, and I'd have to force myself to do comedy. It was a tremendous fucking, you know, looking back at it now, I'm happy I suffered. I'm happy I put the time in, because when I got off that phone with fucking David Tribble, I was ready to go. So my mission was to open up. I wish I remembered who I was opening for. It didn't matter. My job was just to go up there and do great. And I went up there and I knew the manager at the fucking thing. He liked me. but he also was trying to move up in the company, and he wanted to do other things with Tribble, so he really wasn't going to lie to Tribble for me. You know, I didn't drink that night. I didn't do no coke. I had everybody I knew come down, like all my friends in Boulder to come down. They all came down. They cheered me on, and he was like, hey, I'm going to give you a good report. I almost fucking died. And I didn't hear from Tribble the next day. I called him the next day and thanked him for the spot, something I learned from Stu Feiner. I called him and thanked him for the spot, because all this shit I was learning from Stu, now I was using it towards my comedy. Like, I was calling people cold call. I didn't give a fuck about calling a comedy producer, you know what I'm saying? So what Stu was teaching me was going into my comedy now. And I'll never forget, I called him the next morning. It was like a Wednesday morning. I didn't hear back from him. I was fucking heartbroken as fuck. A week went by. 2 weeks went by. And I remember calling Dana and Doug McGrone going, I guess I'm going up to Nebraska. And he started giving me dates on the phone. He goes, well, at the present time, all I got is like one fucking week for you. And it was like this awkward week. It was going to be like 90 hours of driving. Each gig, he hadn't really put his network together, but each gig was an average of 12 hours in between. So you basically had to do the gig, get in your car, and drive 12 hours and it was spread out. It was like Ogallala, Nebraska to fucking, oh yeah. Like it was going to take me 24 hours just to get there type of fucking comedy. And then from Ogallala, I had to go all the way up to like something in North Dakota, and then there was something in South Dakota, and then it ended up in like 50 miles from West Virginia. That's a fucking haul, guys. I don't know, take a look at your fucking map, because it wasn't like now, let me see how many miles. No, in those days, you didn't have that app. You had a fucking whatever map, and when you looked at that motherfucker and pointed and went like that, and it was 6 inches, and then you went over here and it was 6 inches, then you went down, it was 6 inches. Lord, every one of those inches is a fucking nightmare. So I remember going, what the fuck? I go, Doug, can I call you back in a couple days and give you an answer on this? Yeah. And out of nowhere, like on a fucking Monday night at 10 o'clock, I was at my Uncle Mike Kessler's house. We were probably about to cut into a package. And my fucking pager went off. And it was the Idaho, because he lived in Idaho. No. He lived in Vancouver, Washington. And he called me up and he was like, Joey Diaz, okay, David Tribble. And I remember I was at a payphone. I didn't have a pen with me. I had nothing. You know, I just answered the phone. And he's like, Joe Diaz, David Tribble. I have a nice run for you. 6 weeks in a row. I almost fucking came in my asshole. Like, I was like, holy shit.